She stood in silence, her eyes fixed on the worn-out wooden target across the training yard. The sun burned red through the morning air of the Naval Special Warfare Training Facility, casting long shadows across the sand-filled ground. She hadn't spoken a word since arriving. What city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. The SEALs around her sized her up, smirking. Many of them had spent months out here, bleeding, sweating, and fighting for the right to wear the trident on their chest. She was quiet. They were loud dots. She was alone. They were a brotherhood, and yet the strange pull of curiosity made every single one of them watch her carefully, even if they wouldn't admit it. Her name was Alara Finch, but nobody here knew that. Nobody knew who she really was. And she wasn't planning on telling them anytime soon. Not until it mattered. Not until they were forced to see it. Alara had arrived at the SEAL base that morning without ceremony. No insignias, no rank patches. She wore the same uniform as everyone else, but it hung differently on her, the shoulders broader than expected, the boots slightly worn, as if they had walked through fire before. The young men sitting on the benches nearby noticed her before she took 3 steps. "Lost, ma'am?" One of them joked out, another one chuckled. "Jim's that way. We're a little busy here." She smiled, barely. A polite, controlled smile. "Thanks," she said. "I found what I need." She wasn't there to make friends. She wasn't there to prove anything. Not to them. The truth was, Alara had seen more than all of them combined. Not that any of them would believe her. Not yet. The training yard was buzzing. Today was Marksmanship Day, the day every arrogant rookie caught a chance to shine. The day every humble soldier feared failing in front of their peers. And at the far end of the range stood the most respected man on base, Lieutenant Commander Rourke, the instructor. He had a reputation, deadly accurate, brutally honest, and allergic to nonsense. When he saw her arrive, he raised an eyebrow, but didn't say a word. The challenge was simple. 5 targets, increase in distance, decrease in size. Hit all 5 without missing once. The current record was 6 seconds flat. Every SEAL wanted it. Every SEAL tried it. Nobody beat it. As the day went on, each member took their turn. Some missed the last target. Some got too nervous. Some barely even finished. But when it was finally her turn, the laughter started. "You sure you don't want the pistol instead?" "Careful. It kicks." "You know which end the bullets come out?" Alara turned, listening to every joke, every word sharpened with hidden insecurity, but she didn't respond. She stepped forward, slowly, and faced the range. Rourke approached. "You're not on the roster," he said quietly. "I'm not here to take a slot," she replied. "Just want one shot." He narrowed his eyes. There was something strangely familiar in her voice, something practiced, something powerful. But her face told him nothing. "You? Beat 6 seconds?" One guy snorted. "I know how to shoot," she said, politely. Rourke shrugged. "Fine. 1 shot. When you're ready." She took a breath. "Would you mind if I tried?" Every rookie smirked. "Here we go." Someone muttered that her hands were steady as she picked up the rifle. Her finger rested lightly on the trigger, her stance relaxed. Some called it calm. Others called it arrogance. Nobody realized what it truly was. Muscle memory built over years of unseen battlefields. She looked at the first target. And then she moved. 1.2.3.4.5. The shot sounded like a broken drumbeat. Fast, rhythmic, merciless. When the smoke cleared, every single bullseye was pierced cleanly. 5 shots. No misses. 4 seconds. Silence spread across the yard like a wildfire. Nobody spoke. No one laughed. You could have heard sand falling. Then someone whispered, "No way." The clock confirmed it. She had shattered the record by 2 full seconds, something impossible unless you had precision baked into your bones. Unless you'd done it hundreds of times before. Unless you were, in fact, a master. Alara put the rifle down. She turned, nodding at Rourke. and walked back toward the benches as if nothing happened. She didn't celebrate Dot. She didn't brag. She didn't even smile. The others stared, dumbfounded. One young soldier whispered, "Who the hell is she?" That night, curiosity bloomed Dot. They followed her at lunch. They watched her from afar. They whispered everywhere she went, but Alara didn't talk to anyone. She trained alone. Dot. She ate quietly. She slept without a sound. The seals began to unravel, because secrets unsettled them. This woman, this ghost in their ranks, had beaten them, all without announcing it, and her silence was louder than their laughter had ever been. The next morning, the obstacle course was open. The course was infamous, a brutal line of rope climbs, wall jumps, cold water crawls, and precision leaps designed to break the spirit of even the strongest recruits. The fastest time recorded? 1 minute 45 seconds. Very respectable. Nearly unbeatable. Dot. Once again, Alara stood in line quietly. This time, nobody cracked a joke. Dot. Instead, there was respect in their silence. Respect mixed with fear. They watched her like villagers watched a storm cloud on the horizon. Unpredictable, powerful, electric. One by one, recruits ran the course. Some got stuck in the mud crawl. Some fell from the rope swing. One even needed help climbing out of the ice bath. Dot. When Alara's turn came, Rourke stood beside her. "You sure about this?" he asked softly. She nodded once. "I like a challenge," she said. He tilted his head. "Don't go easy on us this time." She smirked slightly. "I'll try not to." The whistle blew. She moved. Dot. No hesitation. No wasted motion. It was like she could see 3 steps ahead of every obstacle. She didn't climb. She exploded upward. She didn't jump. She flew. Mud didn't slow her. Ice couldn't freeze her. Dot. She was a ghost running through fire, unstoppable. She crossed the finish line. 1 minute, 29 seconds, a full 16 seconds faster than the record. When the stopwatch froze, the seals stood speechless. They weren't watching a competitor anymore. They were watching legend. Questions rose. Who was she? Why was she here? Why didn't she speak about her past? Nobody knew that Commander Rourke stayed. Awake that night, staring at her personnel file, or rather, the lack of one. It was empty, redacted, every line blacked out by orders higher than his rank. The only words visible were her name, Alara Finch. There was no rank, no photograph, nothing more. Just a signature at the bottom, signed by someone much, much higher up. The following week, the training intensified. The young men pushed harder. What once felt like hell was now distorted. Their pride was under attack, not their bodies. Every challenge was now a question. Would she try it? Would she beat us again? They had to know if she was real, if she was human, or if they were training alongside a living myth. Rourke watched it all, silently, slowly putting the pieces together. Her movements were too precise. Her strength was too quiet. Her silence was too loud. On a rare afternoon, he sat alone reading one of the old classified reports in his office reports he technically wasn't allowed to see. A single name appeared. On one of the pages, Alara Finch, and under it, a phrase, Special Assignment Authorization. Black Hawk Unit. His heart stopped. There was only one unit known by that code name, but they were ghost. Rumors. Stories told by veterans to scare recruits. But there it was, in unclassified ink. She was real, and she was one of them. The next day, the SEALs were called to the firing range again. This time, it wasn't a challenge. It was a test, a surprise live fire drill. Moving targets, timed reloads. No warning. Shots rang, bodies moved, orders were shouted. Some panicked, some held steady. But one person didn't move an inch off target. In the chaos, she was still, centered, deadly. Every target, moving, swinging, obstructed, fell clean to the ground. She didn't shout. She didn't talk. She didn't even look. Around. She moved like the wind, present, but invisible to those who didn't know where to look. That night, The recruits couldn't sleep. They whispered in their bunks. How did she do it? She's a machine. No, it's something else. Rourke finally spoke up at dinner. She's not here to compete, he told them. She's here to teach you a lesson. What lesson? Someone asked. Rourke stared at them, his eyes sharp. That the fight isn't for the strongest, he said. It's for the smart, the disciplined, the unseen ones. The room fell silent. One night days into training, the camp fell under silent alert. A drill had begun. Every soldier woke to red lights and emergency calls through the speakers. Base perimeter breach. The voice crackled. Elara was already up, boots tied, checking equipment. Then she ran, not into the barracks, but toward the breach. She didn't scream orders. She didn't wait for permission. She moved faster than anyone else and reached the target zone first. When the others arrived, panting, gripping their rifles, they found her standing calmly on the ridge. 4 intruders lay tied on the ground. Nobody knew how she had done it. Nobody asked. But one recruit whispered later to another, she didn't need backup. We needed her. It became impossible to deny Elara wasn't just good. She was elite. Beyond every record. Beyond every SEAL there. One afternoon, when they were assigned their final week's evaluation, Rourke walked out in front of them all with a clipboard and cleared his throat. Today's evaluation is about precision under pressure, he began. Before he could finish explaining, one voice broke through. Let her go first. The others nodded in agreement. Elara looked at them quietly. Rourke smiled unexpectedly, almost proud. Very well, he said. Finch, you'll demonstrate the course. She walked forward without a word. The course wasn't just difficult. It was meant to destroy confidence. Distraction explosions, smoke, fake sniper fire. But Elara didn't break. In fact, and nobody could have expected this. She finished. The first person in the unit to do so. Standing at the finish line. In a cloud of dust and smoke, she faced her peers, dozens of SEAL trainees, and for the first time, she spoke to all of them at once. If you think it's about proving them wrong, she said quietly, you're already broken. They stared, breathless. I didn't come here to beat anyone. I came here to remind you of something. She paused, long enough for them to listen. Really listen. The enemy doesn't care about your ego. The world doesn't care who you think you are. Only one thing matters. She gently placed her hand on her chest. Who you become when nobody is watching. She walked away, heading back toward the range. None of them spoke for a long time, and nobody ever forgot what she said. 3 days later, Commander Rourke addressed the unit for graduation. Not all of you will become SEALs, he told them, but every one of you has been changed by someone. He turned and looked at Elara. We were visited by a ghost, he said, a legend, and she never had to say a word. The recruits turned to her. Their eyes filled not with jealousy, but with deep, genuine respect. Rourke continued. Some of you laughed when she took her first shot. Silence. But now, none of you will ever forget what you witnessed. He stepped forward. So, I'll say the thing she didn't. He removed his cap. Stood at attention, Commander Elara Finch, Black, Hawk Unit, former Special Operations, advisor to the Joint Special Operations Command. A collective. Gas filled the air. Every soldier on that base stood silently, eyes wide, hearts buckling under the weight of truth. Elara walked forward, saluted Rourke once, then turned and addressed the unit. You have everything you need, she said softly. Now go earn what you want. She left the base the next day, quietly. No ceremony, no publicity, no send-off, but the story of the woman who shattered every record and spoke only when it mattered. That story stayed. Some said she was a ghost. Some claimed she was a myth. But every SEAL who trained there knew the truth. She came She conquered, and she never needed to brag about it. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.